Hello everyone, let's make some messy art. Here I'm going in with my pencil on this piece of Strathmore paper that I've cut down to some 5x5 squares. This is the Lyra graphite stick that I'm going in with. I'm just making some marks to begin. There you can see I've taped them all together on the back, trying a different way of making them all at once rather than taping them on the front. Back in with a pencil. Now we're going to go in with some white gesso and we're going to seal these marks under this gesso. I really like this effect. It gives the marks, because these marks are not extremely important. You probably won't see them at the end. It's really just a way for me to get started, get moving, get thinking, release, any stress that I have before I create. It's very important to me. So here I'm just adding in some gesso, and this is officially our first layer will be covered in this. Then we're going to go in with the, that is the Intense Blue, and then just going in a little bit. So I'm going to dry it down a little. Very important when you're making that you dry between layers. These are the papers that I created yesterday, and I will make sure to leave a link above for you for that. So I'm going to pick these two here, and then we're just going to go in and we're going to start adding in this collage material. Here's a little trick that I learned from another artist on YouTube. Take the water pen and lightly go over your tissue paper, and it makes it really easily drip into more precise shapes that you want. You can see it's really super easy to get. Rather than tearing it, this just makes it a little damp, and you get these really fun results from it. Like the edges are really nice. I'm going to start here. I'm just going to tear these up into small pieces. I like adding marks this way, mostly because it allows me to add marks without the fear of them blending together or smearing, or it also adds in a bit of spontaneity to it as far as being able to add marks without thinking, add marks that just make sense, right? Here I am going in with my matte medium. I'm using just a regular cheapo sponge brush here to add in the matte medium. I think these work better than brushes because matte medium will destroy your brushes. Like, it's horrible for brushes. You can never get it all out. I like these horizontal lines. I like how they're blending in. I do like printing on the tissue paper because it allows me for the layers to be more transparent. And so we're going to add in some of these really dark black bold marks. These are all made with acrylic paint, so you want to be careful. In another video, I talked about how I use a stamping pad for printing the papers, and that stamping pad ink is not permanent, so all of the ink just smeared everywhere, and it was I made it work, but it was not my favorite, so we'll not be doing that again. But here we are adding in these really fun marks that I made on a piece of tissue paper with I think I used my Catalyst Wedge blade that has makes really cool marks. I'm just going to add in a little bit of this bold black. We love a bold black, right? If you've watched any of my videos, you know that I love boldness, and I love being able to just add something that's stark, and this is one way that I do that. It's really simple to do. You can see right there I messed up, and so I just sort of ripped it, but that's okay. Happy accidents, as Bob Ross would say. So we're done with that. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of this parchment acrylic I want to add some light sections. Here I'm reusing a piece of plastic that I had laying around as my palette. Always reuse and recycle as much as you can. Adding in just a little bit of this parchment color. I love this color because it's got hints of green and a little bit of cream color. Always making marks around the whole page to keep the energy up. Now I'm going to go in with a little bit of this Liquitex Paints Gray, which is another one of my very favorite colors. I want this to be thin, transparent, and not too much. I just want it to be just little hints of it here and there to add in color. You can see I'm taking the end of my brush and making marks that way into it. I believe that the more marks that you can make, the more interest your pieces are going to have, and therefore the viewer is going to enjoy looking at them more. There's always going to be something that translates down. And never worry about being too delicate. Always just sort of make marks. I'm going in here with the sepia Taylor and Roni ink. Again, just want to add a little bit more depth to these, and I know they look really messy right now, but we're going to bring it all together in the next page. Now we're going to untape these. Quick tip, remember to use your hairdryer on the back of your tape to make taking them apart a little easier. You can see here that I like to take them apart so I can see kind of where I'm going to go with the next stage. And the next stage is going to be adding more color. So I've got my Caran d'Ache. These are art crayons, and they are water soluble. Starting off here with the yellow ochre. I really love this color. Ochre and blue really are colors that I love together. You can see that I always try to add in the color in 3 different parts of the piece, and that is so that your eye will move around the paint. I do it with every color that I add. It's very subtle, but when you're looking at the piece, you'll start looking for, you'll see a color and you'll start noticing it around the piece, and this just helps the viewer move through the piece a little easier, and they don't even know they're doing it. It's very subtle, but it's something that I do. You could add more of the color. I choose 3 only because triangles make sense to me. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, but triangles make sense to me. And even numbers don't. I don't know why that is, but 3, it's this triangle thing. So here I'm adding in more of this color. As you can see, I'm taking in the paintbrush a little bit and adding some water to it. These make really awesome washes. So I'm going to go in with this burnt sienna color. Again, adding in just little hints of it here. I don't want these to be too overbearing on the piece. I just sort of want them, again, to add a little visual interest, little clues, little layers. We're building up this space and this world. We're building it up into, we want things to recede and come forward, and the viewer's eye to move around the piece. Very important, especially when you're working abstractly. Here I'm adding in just a little thin wash with this color, which is really nice. When we're working abstractly, we have to guide the viewer, because they don't see what we see. So you have to guide them with color through the piece and through your vision of the piece. I work intuitively, which means I don't plan these pieces. I just make them. I know that sounds weird. I don't sketch. I just start creating, and I kind of just let the piece tell me what it needs, where I need to add the marks. Here I'm going with a palette knife, and this is a fun little trick to add some texture with the crayon. I'm trying to figure out what color pink I'm going to use here, and I think I'm going to go with this salmon color. I want these, though, to be very bold, because it needs it needs some brightness. It's a little monotone for my taste. Again, adding in 3 sections of color, and you can see how that really makes all of that stuff in the background sort of recede back a little bit. You start to look through the layers, you start to look through the piece, and around it was that bold pink color in there. You're getting some really nice marks. I love how this color interacts with, especially with that burnt sienna. If you've ever been here when I've been making these messy pieces, I love odd color combinations that probably don't make sense to anybody else. But pink and rust and ochre and black are just like my favorite colors. It probably comes because I love de Kooning, Robert de Kooning's work, and he used a lot of these colors, and I think it's just sort of melded into my brain. But I do love these colors together. Now we're going to add in some more gesso, and these are going to be bold marks. I've been doing this a lot lately in my work, and I kind of like how it reacts. I like how opaque it is. It works better for me than just plain white paint, and you will see me using my fingers a lot. You can make marks in it, you can add texture, and it's just another way to add depth to the pieces so that they recede and come forward, and it allows you to make some pretty bold pieces here. For these last 2, I'm going to keep adding in more of the gesso in little sections. Again, our rule of 3. Whether it's a line or a solid shape, I do like to stick to my rule of 3. And I like squares. As much as I like triangles, I like squares too. Which I guess are just really, 2 triangles put together. Here I'm scribbing back in with a palette knife a little bit. Get some texture. And going in here, using my finger again. I love this. I love adding just like one big thing sort of right in the middle, just to disrupt, And this one's not going to have that much white on it. But again, 3. So now I believe I'm going to go in with some black, because there needs to be more contrast in these pieces. There needs to be, I want to follow the idea of those big black shapes that we made earlier, that we put down with the tissue paper way back in the beginning. And I want to continue those marks. I want to continue those sort of zigzaggy, bold lines. And to me, you have to have a dark bit and dark sections and pieces into your work. Otherwise, there's no contrast, and I love contrast. I think with the black, I love the black and the pink together. I think it just makes it just so, it just makes everything pop. A little black makes everything pop, I think. But you can see I'm not adding that much. Just little bits here and there. This one's going to come following what we've already done and what we've already laid down, and I'm trying to keep it consistent with that. And I could go in with water and make these more painterly. So here we have the 4 pieces. I put them on a white card so we can kind of see. And then I'm going to take these little pieces of mat board here so that you can kind of see what they look like when they're finished. And it really makes a big difference, I think. Just to kind of see what it looks like without, as a finished product. I think it really changes the piece. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, and we've got some fun things coming up. I'm going to be doing Inktober starting tomorrow. So the work is going to change a little bit, but we're going to keep making videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to, follow me on Instagram at Mixed Media Art by Trina. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.